Okay, so if n squared is odd, n, so this is the first one, n is equal to 2 times the number plus 1. So like you guys already said in the chat, there's some number or some integer right? That's an integer, and we times that by 2 and add 1 to that, and that makes n odd. So this is probably worth 2 marks, this first statement. So using that set notation that I was talking about in the last proof. So this is like saying that n is odd, and now we're showing n squared is odd. Then we're going to be squaring all of this. Expand the brackets. Then this step might not be completely logical for you guys. So you can see this original statement, we've got 2 times a number plus 1. So we want this to look similar to that, because then it shows that it's also odd. I forgot the squared there. So you can see there's 2 times something plus 1. So this shows that this is also odd. So using n being odd, we've shown that n squared is odd. So we've done this one. You've got to kind of say that though. It's odd. I hope that makes sense how we got to that. So I stated that n is odd using notation, and then I showed that n squared is odd. So we've done this. Now we're going to do the other one, the first one. So we're going to have n squared is odd. N squared is odd to show that n is odd. So n squared is 2b plus 1. So there's 2 parts to this proof, and it's all because of the if and only if. If and only if means it has to work both ways. So second part of the proof, now we're showing that, so we're showing n squared is odd. Now we need to somehow show that n is odd from this n squared odd, right? So if we go, and this is the really tricky bit. You have to realize that n squared minus 1 equals so I'm trying to get n by itself essentially, and that's why I use the difference of squares. I can sub this in. So that gets rid of the plus 1, right? And you remember the null factor law, even though it's not 0. So 2b equal to n minus 1, or 2b equals to n plus 1. Either way, if you're going to, so if you rearrange this, 2b plus 1, or n equals 2b minus 1, either way, that's going to give you an odd number for n. So I wanted to eliminate this plus 1. That's why I minus the 1. I've got 2b by itself, and then I got n by itself. And then say, therefore, and then the first statement, n squared is odd if and only if n is odd. So this is a hard proof. There's two parts to it because of the if and only if. N squared is odd. So if you're saying n is odd, you prove n squared is odd. You're saying n squared is odd, you're proving n is odd. And then you're saying the therefore statement behind both of those and finishing with the final statement.